Welcome back. We want to look at our last data type or data structure called dictionary. A dictionary in Python is a key value pair of all that collection of data. So let's look at how we can use dictionaries in Python. If we have a variable called myDate equals, then you use the curly bracket as we saw in set. Okay, and then the first one will be our key. So we can say key equals name, and then we bring a column. So after the column you produce the value. So we can say our value is sum, and then if you want to declare more items you separate them with commas. So you define another key called, let's say, age, and then column you produce the value, let's say 20. Okay, so this is how, and you can go on and produce as many arguments as you want. So if we print myDate, this is what we will get: name, sum, age, 20. So the ones on the left hand side are called keys, and the ones after the column are called values. We have to note that the keys of a dictionary can only be an immutable data type. So you can't use a list here as a key. So if you try using, let's say, a list containing 1, let's say 34 as our key, we will get an error. Okay, and then if we assign anything here and then we try to print your date, let's see what we get. Unhashable type list. So this means that we can use a list as a key. And all the mutable data types, you can use all the mutable data types as a key in a dictionary, but we can use them as values. So we can use a list as a value but not a key. We can use the empty curly bracket to define an empty dictionary, or we can use the dict constructor like this to define an empty dictionary. So if we print M2 right now, we will get the empty dictionary like this. And then if we also print empty dict or empty di like this, we will get the same thing. So whenever that you use the empty curly bracket like this, as I showed you in set, you are not defining an empty set, you are defining an empty dictionary. We have to take note of that. Also, there are many ways that we can define or declare a dictionary in Python. I'll leave a link in the description, so if you want to read more about how to define dictionaries, you can check it out. So let's see another way that we can define a dictionary. Okay, we can use the dict constructor like this, and then here we pass in the keys. But here the key, if it's a string, you don't have to put in a quotation mark. So we can say name, then the value, if it's a string, must be in a quotation mark. Let's say Musa. All right, and then we separate it by comma. If you want to pass in more arguments, we can say age equals, let's say, 15, and then we say country equals, let's say, Ghana. And then if we print any date, we are getting it the same way as we would have declared it this way. All right, so this is how we do that. The values can be of any data type, but the keys must be an immutable data type. As simple as that. As we saw in list, dictionaries are not indexed, but we can access the items using the key. So if you want to, let's say, access Musa, we can do that through its key. What's the key of Musa? Name, right? So we can use the square bracket like this and then pass in the key. The key is name. So if we print this one right now, we expect that we get Musa. So if we print this, we are getting Musa. Okay, so if you pass in age here, we will get 15. That is how we access the values in a dictionary. So instead of using 01 as an index, that is not allowed in dictionaries. You have to use the keys to access the values in a dictionary. Let's look at how you can use nested dictionaries in Python. They are very important and they might become handy. So if you have a dictionary called, let's say, My School, and then in this dictionary we have information about, let's say, some student. So we can say student 1. Then this is the key, so the value can be another dictionary. And then in this dictionary we have the name of the student as, let's say, Sam. And then we have the level of this student. So let's say level 200. Okay, and we also want to have another student, let's say student 2, and then we set the values to be another dictionary. So the name of that student, let's say, is called Peter, and then he is in level 400. So let's break this down so that you see it clearly what we are doing here. So we have student 1, and then in here we want to bring it down level 200. So we have My School dictionary this way. Okay, so this is a nested dictionary, and then if we go ahead and print this My School, you have it this way, the same thing as we saw in the previous one. So if you want to access, let's say, student 1, we will do it this way: print My School and then student 1. So let's see, print this and see what we will get. Let me comment these ones out. So if we print My School student 1, we are getting the first item, that is name, called to Sam, and level 200. But since this is a nested dictionary, what if we want to access the name of the first student, that is student 1? So we can do this, bring another square bracket, and then we access the name. So we want to access Sam. Okay, so if we print this, we expect that we get Sam, and then we are getting Sam. So if you want to access the level of the second student, we can do this, and then we will access the level of the first students. We will look or talk more about dictionaries in the next video, but as you have seen all the data types, choosing one to store a particular information depends on you as a programmer. Okay, so it depends on the type of information that you are saving. If you want to save information about some students or information about a particular data that will never change, you have to know what data type or data structure to choose that will be suitable for the kind of data that you have. All right, so we have learned all the data types that we need to know in Python. In the next video we will talk about dictionary methods, and then after that we look at more complex things in Python. Bye bye for now, see you in the next video.